Let the second chair.
Who's ready? Okay.
Riley, Judge. This week.
You. Oh. That one,
How does that?
yeah, I'm, well, no, all right, thank you. So I'm assuming you all are going on 6879, the ag assault?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 0068879, State of Texas versus Stephen Allen Raleigh. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
Defense?
Brendan Lucas for Mr. Riley.
Are you Mr. Raleigh? Counsel, you received all of the discovery. Did you review it with your client?
We have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Raleigh, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor, on both counts.
Mr. Raleigh, did you review the court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand in count 1 and count 2, you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. You need to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Did you understand, if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, the court, if you were revoked, the court could sentence you up to 20 years in prison in each count and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
In my opinion, he is, Your Honor.
Mr. Raleigh, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on counts 1 and 2. Punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 7 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. The state is silent on your applications. They're taking in consideration 2024 CR 006874, 2024 CR 006881, and County Court 12, cause number 7300579. There's to be restitution, if any, to the complainants, Lily Huerto, Frank Hernandez, and Frank Coronado, and that's Huerto. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
If the dismissal is not signed in cause 7300579, defense, do you consider that a violation of the plea bargain agreement?
I don't, Your Honor.
All right. Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? Only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting no contact with the complainants in this case. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged in count 1, how do you plea?
Contact.
Count 2, how do you plea?
Contact.
State any evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. State exhibit number 1 with office attached.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you review the document entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty in count 1 and count 2. The court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. I need a PSI date, please.
October 3rd.
Counsel, are you requesting a MIC evaluation or a TAP evaluation?
Your Honor, I would request both, Your Honor.
All right, so there'll be a TAP evaluation and a MIC evaluation. Mr. Rowley, we will bring you back on October 3rd, and I will base my decision on your application based upon any evidence that's presented to the court. Do you understand? Make sure that you're honest with probation and open about any issues you may have, okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Is the paperwork done?
No, Judge.
All right, so what we're gonna do, we'll have to do that during a break with the jury. All right, Deputy Laura, can you line, the jury? All right, if you can put them next door and then we'll bring the jury in. All right, court is calling 2021 CR 10255. State of Texas versus Jose Gilberto Del Bosque. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Defense.
And are you Mr. Del Bosque? All right, state, if you'll have your witness take the witness stand, please. They say they're doing a plea on someone. Mr. Rowley, he may need to be on hold so that Ms. Abrams can talk to him. And I think those two, yes. I don't think so. No.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Chill. Yeah, I'm sorry. You can chill there as long as you want.
I take it you guys finished.
Thank you. Everyone, please
on?
make sure your phones are on silent.
Yeah. I think so.
You just spell that or you got it? Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Edmonds,
Yes, sir.
on your case, is that a plea for time or something else?
For deferred judge.
All right. So I'll take up the plea when we have a break. It's agreed deferred, correct? Okay. And State, on that case, have you let Ms. Abrams know what the agreement is?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, thank you.
They happen, y'all are busy. It's just that you deferred.
Sure. You deferred? No.
Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Yeah,
great. No problem. She really has everything, but yeah, happy to do it. We'll come down, but I mean, I don't know what's.
Yeah, two deferred.
I don't mind at all.
See y'all later.
All right, thank you. All right, we're ready.
All right, for the jury.
State, call your next witness.
State called Robert Sailors.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that the jurors can hear and the court reporter can hear. If you'll state your name for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Sailors. Last name is spelled Sailors.
State.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Sailors. Can you please introduce yourself to the jury by explaining what you do and where you work?
Of course. Yes, so I am currently employed at the Bexar County Criminal Investigation Laboratory as one of the supervisors of the forensic biology unit.
What are your duties?
Primarily, my duties are to oversee the technical operations of the forensic biology department. And then my other duties pertain to the training of new analysts and performing forensic DNA casework.
And before you became a supervisor, were you still employed at Bexar County Lab?
I was, yes, ma'am.
What were you previously employed as?
As a forensic scientist performing forensic DNA casework.
It's on, it's just not very loud. Yeah, I'll try, I'll turn it up too. Alrighty, so what educational background do you have?
I have a bachelor's of science degree in biology from Texas Lutheran University and a master's of science degree in biotechnology from the University of Texas at San Antonio.
Have you received any additional training in the areas of serology and DNA analysis?
Yes, ma'am. Pretty much the entirety of my career has been spent with Bexar County. And so I was in Bexar County where I received my training to perform this type of work. And that training was a rather lengthy process that involves numerous readings, observed casework, practice samples, and eventually moving on to taking competency exams and then supervised casework under the supervision of a qualified analyst.
How long have you been employed at the Bexar County Crime Lab?
I believe it's approximately 27 years.
And during this time, you said that you're now a supervisor. Do you have to do any teachings or trainings as a supervisor?
I do, yes, ma'am.
And what do those involve?
Well, when we hire new individuals into the laboratory out of college, I'm primarily responsible for overseeing their training. And so basically that is, establishing the basic foundations of forensic biology and human inheritance and genetics, all the way through the technology that we use to perform the type of work that we do and how the instrumentations work, and overseeing their competency examinations.
Have you testified as an expert witness before about serology or DNA?
Yes, ma'am.
About how many times would you say?
I'm not sure the exact number, but it should easily be over 100.
Was that here in this jurisdiction?
Yes, ma'am.
So talk to me about serology. What's the process of how you get a case and you start to examine everything?
Well, primarily, back at the time that this work was performed, whenever we would receive evidence in the form of, say, a sexual assault evidence examination kit, we would perform a various number of presumptive and confirmatory tests on the evidence, looking for the possible presence of semen, saliva, possibly blood. And when that biological material was found and identified, we would then save a sample back from that evidence to perform forensic DNA analysis on. And so initially we would issue what would be called a screening or serology report, indicating what the results of the biological fluid testing showed on the evidence. And then we would then move those items forward for forensic DNA analysis, where through a various number of tests, we develop genetic profiles to determine who may or may not be a contributor to that biological material.
Were you involved with a case with a suspect named Jose Del Bosque?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you perform just one analysis? What all did you do in this case?
In this particular case, I issued 3 separate reports. The first report was a forensic DNA report that was issued based on the serological testing that was performed by Melissa Baldwin. And I then also issued a serological report on some additional evidence that was submitted to the laboratory. Mainly, these were swabs from cans identified. One was a Miller Lite can and one was a Truly can, where they were asking us to perform DNA analysis on the cans. And so a report was issued indicating that I received this evidence and saved samples back from it for DNA analysis. And then my third and final report was the forensic DNA report pertaining to the DNA that was found on those cans and the comparisons to the complainant and defendant.
So let's just kind of go in chronological order. Before we can start, how do you guys track cases internally at the Bexar County Crime Lab?
Whenever an agency brings evidence to the laboratory, that agency has a unique case identifier that accompanies their case. And so in this case, it was a San Antonio Police Department, and the evidence had a San Antonio Police Department case number on it. When that comes into the laboratory, we then assign our own case number to it, which is called a Criminal Investigation Laboratory Case Number, or CIL number. And all the evidence then that would ever come in under this particular SAPD case would fall under that same CIL number. And so that way, all the evidence that comes in would stay together under that one case.
And for this case, do all 3 of your reports contain the same CIL?
Yes, ma'am, they do.
And what is the CIL case number?
That case number is 21-01358.
Do they all contain the same SAPD case number?
Yes, ma'am, they do.
And what is that SAPD case number?
That would be 2104-0257.
Now, let's talk about the first kind of chronologically, the first exam you did. You said that was a forensic DNA report, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was this DNA that you were saying based on?
This DNA report was based on items of evidence that were tested and retained by analyst Melissa Baldwin. And these were items of evidence that were collected or removed from the sexual assault evidence collection kits taken from individuals identified as Jose Del Bosque and Elise Moro Week. Am I saying that right, Maura?
I think we've all said it a different.
Okay,
different ways.
sorry.
Don't worry. Okay, so walk me through the process. How do you receive all of this from Melissa? Then how did you take steps to test this for DNA analysis?
So when Melissa Baldwin would have been finished with her testing, she would have taken the retained evidence that she had and put it in our evidence storage facility in the biology laboratory, where it stayed until I took possession of it to perform the forensic DNA work. I specifically took it out of the biological sample storage on September 1st, 2021, which was when I began the DNA analysis on this evidence.
How does DNA analysis work? Like, how do you guys test it in layman's terms?
I'm sorry, just for a moment. Could everyone just give me 5 minutes? Just please remain seated.
I'll just project. For me, can you hear me? That's one thing. She's like, oh. Yeah.
All right, everyone, excuse me. State, you may continue.
Okay, that would be.
Sure. Oh, wow.
Oh, you can turn off your mic. I did. Okay. Right there. Okay.
That's too loud for the court reporter. All right,
We can turn it on.
yes, just turn it down just a little bit. That's good. Yes.
Alrighty, so you were telling us how DNA examination works.
Well, basically in a nutshell, everybody's DNA that's in their body is unique to that person with the exception of identical twins. And this happens because, you know, you get half of your mom's DNA and half of your father's DNA, and their DNA kind of gets shuffled when the female forms an egg and the male forms a spermatozoa. And then when the egg gets fertilized with the spermatozoa, you end up with a full complement of DNA that is a mixture of your mom and dad's DNA. It's unique to you, again, with the exception of identical twins. We use that aspect of DNA for the purposes of human identification and such that we can take DNA from evidence, from crime scene evidence, could be a vaginal swab, could be blood on a sidewalk, look at the DNA on that evidence item and compare it to the DNA of a known individual. It could be a complainant, it could be a suspect, it could be a witness or person of interest. And we can compare those DNA profiles together to determine whether or not the individual is excluded as a contributor, meaning that it can't be, that's not from them, or whether they are not excluded, meaning that they may be a contributor.
And you guys use the phrasing excluded and non-excluded.
Well, we typically use those words because we're dealing with, you know, everybody in the world's DNA has not been tested. Biologically and statistically, yes, your DNA is unique to you with the exception of identical twins, but is it possible that there's somebody out there that may have the same DNA profile as you in the areas that we're looking at? And the possibility exists. And so we use the term non-exclusion versus saying that person is the source of the DNA. It's kind of, leaves a little bit of a, I guess I should say, like maybe a wiggle room without speaking like from a certainty.
And is there anything you do in terms of being able to evaluate what are the chances of it being someone else as opposed to the exact person you just tested?
Well, we can perform a various types of statistical analysis. We can do what's called a random match probability, which when we come to the conclusion that an individual is not excluded as being the donor of the DNA, we calculate what's called a random match probability, which talks about what would be the chances of finding somebody at random in the population that would also match that evidence DNA profile. We also perform what are called, likelihood ratios, where when the DNA profile is, it's a little more difficult to interpret, either based upon the amount of DNA that's present or maybe the number of contributors that are in there, like it's a mixture. We can evaluate that and compare two competing hypotheses that the DNA profile observed would be best explained as coming from, maybe a suspect and a victim, as opposed to two random individuals in the population. So there's different types of statistical analysis that we perform that whenever we have a conclusion that the individual cannot be excluded.
So in this case, what specifically did you perform DNA analysis on?
The evidence items that I examined in the first report would have been the penile swab tips and bilateral hand swab tips collected from the defendant, Jose Del Bosque, and then the vulva swab tips, perioral swab tips, neck swab tips, and bilateral breast swab tips from the complainant.
And what were the results?
You just want me to go through them?
Yeah, walk
Go-
through
Walk
how-
through them? Okay. Um,
Okay, no.
so the results are going to be different for each item, just because each item would have a different amount of DNA present on it. So, so bear with me here. As it pertains to the penile swabs from the defendant, and I'll need to read from my report so I don't misstate the statement, if that's okay.
If you just want to refresh it and then go ahead.
Okay, I don't want, I don't want to misspeak.
All right, everyone, please remember not to talk over each other.
Okay, on the penile swab tips, the DNA profile that I observed was consistent with coming from 3 individuals. And the genetic typing results that I got were approximately 37 quintillion, 143 quadrillion times more likely if they originated from Jose Del Bosque, the complainant, and an unknown person, than if they had originated from Jose Del Bosque and 2 unknown, unrelated individuals. And basically what that means is that this provides very strong support for the proposition that the complainant is a contributor of the human DNA on this item.
And so that was on the penis swab or the penile swab.
On the penile swab, yes, ma'am.
And so basically what it boils down to is there was DNA for 3 individuals, the defendant, the complainant, and a third unknown person, correct?
It was consistent with that, yes, ma'am.
And then what is the next item from DNA analysis on?
The next item would have been the bilateral hand swab tips from the defendant. And on this one, it was a little more easier to resolve from an interpretation standpoint. And so my conclusion was that the complainant was not excluded as a source of the foreign human DNA identified on the hand swabs. And I calculated a modified random match probability in that case. And that random match probability was 1 octillion, 528 septillion, 600 sextillion. And so basically that's that random match probability basically, which says that I would need to get approximately that many individuals together collected at random before I would expect to see that same profile that was observed on the hand swabs.
And so you're saying something about octillions, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a much larger number than billions?
Yes, we're, you know, I don't want to misspeak, but there's, approximately, 7 billion people in the world. And now we're out to the trillions, the quadrillions, the quintillions, sextillions, septillions, and octillions.
You need more than the current population in order to kind of, when you would expect to maybe have another random match.
Statistically speaking,
Statistically
yes, ma'am.
speaking, yes, okay. So that's on the hand tips from the defendant, Jose Del Bosque. It was both, it had his DNA and then Elise could not be excluded, is what you're saying.
As the contributor of the DNA that was foreign to the defendant on his hand swabs.
And then what is the next item you looked at for DNA?
The next item would have been the perioral swab tips from the complainant. The DNA profile from that item was consistent with originating from 2 individuals. And the genetic typing results are approximately 4 sextillion, 397 quintillion, 500 quadrillion times more likely if they originated from the complainant and Jose Del Bosque than if they originated from the complainant and an unknown, unrelated individual. And basically what this means is that this provides very strong support for the proposition that Jose Del Bosque is a contributor of the human DNA on this item.
What is the next item that was examined?
I apologize about the numbers. And then on the bilateral breast swabs from the complainant, the DNA was consistent with originating from 2 individuals. And the genetic typing results were approximately 26 quadrillion, 313 trillion times more likely if they originated from the complainant and Jose Del Bosque than if they originated from the complainant and an unknown, unrelated individual. And this analysis provides very strong support for the proposition that Jose Del Bosque is a contributor of the human DNA on this item.
And was there anything else that was examined?
Yes, ma'am. There was the vulva swabs that were collected from the complainant. And based upon the work that I did, there was no human DNA foreign to her observed on the genetic profile that was developed. Prior to developing a genetic profile, we have to quantitate our DNA and kind of measure it and find out how much DNA we have present on there. And we look at the total amount of human DNA, and then we look to see whether there's any male DNA present in there as well. So in this case, during the quantitation step, I was able to detect there was male DNA present there, but when I developed a genetic profile, the overwhelming amount of female DNA that was present there resulted in the only profile that I observed was consistent with the complainant. So I didn't observe any foreign DNA.
And was there anything else that was tested and looked at for this DNA?
Yes, ma'am. One more item. And that would be the neck swab tips from the complainant. Based upon my evaluation of that, there was a small amount of foreign DNA, foreign to the complainant on the neck swabs, but it was just of an insufficient quantity for me to come to any conclusions regarding that DNA.
All right, so moving on to the second report you also did serology analysis, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and those were on a Miller Lite can and a Truly can.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what were the results of that examination?
So when I was asked to examine the swabs from the Miller Lite can and Truly can, I did perform a presumptive test on those items. The presumptive test I performed is a presumptive test for saliva. A presumptive test is by no means a confirmatory test. And so when you have a positive presumptive test for saliva, it just means that there's a strong indication that saliva is present, but the enzyme that we're testing for is also found in other body fluids. So it doesn't confirm the presence of saliva. That's why it's called a presumptive test. And in this report here, the presumptive test for saliva was positive on the Miller Lite can and Truly can.
What did you do with those after you did the serology? Did you send it off to someone else to do DNA, or did you perform the DNA analysis?
No, ma'am. I retained the swabs from the Miller Lite can and Truly can and returned the rest of the evidence, and then moved those swabs that I'd retained. I moved them forward for DNA testing, which was also performed by myself.
And what were the results of that DNA testing?
Okay. On the Miller Lite can, human DNA consistent with 2 contributors was observed on the Miller Lite can. And the genetic typing results were a little over 16 quintillion times more likely if they originated from Jose Del Bosque and an unknown unrelated individual than if they originated from 2 unknown unrelated individuals. Meaning this provides very strong support for the proposition that Jose Del Bosque is a contributor of the DNA on this item. Additionally, I compared the DNA to the complainant, and the genetic typing results were a little more than 91 trillion times more likely if they originated from the complainant and 1 unknown unrelated individual than if they originated from 2 unrelated individuals, again, providing very strong support for the proposition that the complainant is a contributor of the human DNA on this item.
So kind of boils down to there's evidence to suggest that both of their DNA was on that Miller Lite can.
When you look at the DNA profile, yes, it was consistent with being a mixture of the 2 individuals, but we evaluate them separately.
And then what were the results for the Truly can?
The Truly can also had a genetic profile on there consistent with 2 contributors. And the genetic typing results that I got were a little more than 665 septillion times more likely if they originated from Jose Del Bosque and one unknown unrelated individual than if they originated from two unknown unrelated individuals, providing very strong support for the proposition that Jose Del Bosque is a contributor of the DNA on this item. Additionally, in the comparison to the complainant, the DNA results were a little more than 413 sextillion times more likely if they originated from the complainant and one unknown unrelated individual than if they originated from two unknown unrelated individuals, again, providing very strong support for the proposition that the complainant is a contributor of the human DNA on this item.
All right, defense.
Afternoon, Mr. Sailors.
Good afternoon.
You had testified something about procedures being changed in the lab earlier in your testimony.
Yes, sir.
When did that occur?
I believe it was around 2022, when as it comes to the testing of sexual assault evidence collection kits, we stopped performing presumptive testing and every item moves forward for DNA analysis and we go from there. So we've stopped the presumptive testing.
Was that because there was a backlog of evidence that needed to be tested and you were short-staffed at the lab?
No, that was just the way the field was moving. The field was moving towards a direct to DNA approach as a way to preserve evidence. It also makes it a little more efficient for automation using automated DNA procedures.
But you would agree with me, there was a time, in fact, I don't know, I think it's still a problem, is it not with the lab that you are short-staffed in employees?
Well, we're not short-staffed anymore. We are, but we're in the process of training individuals. But yes, we do have more untested evidence than we would like to have.
And in fact, that was an issue that you were concerning an audit that was done on the lab, was it not? Backlog of evidence and short staff?
I'm not aware of any audit pertaining to like accreditation where that would be an issue.
Now, looking at the reports, with regard to, let me find it here. That I believe there was a testimony that there was no semen found on the vulva slabs. Is that correct?
That might have been a report or testing that was done by Melissa Baldwin.
Okay.
So I don't have that in front of me.
Now, DNA.
Yes, sir.
If I touch her little water jug there, my DNA is on that water jug, is it not?
It's possible to transfer. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So DNA can be transferred by touch, saliva, basically any human contact with an object. You would agree with me on that?
It's possible. Yes, sir.
All right. So say we have a can. If an individual hands a can to someone, their DNA is on that can. Is that not correct?
There could be enough there to detect. Yes.
All right. So it's not conclusive, is it? Because someone's DNA on the can doesn't mean that the can, they drank out of that can.
Yeah. Yes, sir. None of the testimony I can provide will talk about how the DNA got there.
Right. Gotcha. And when you received the can, was it empty or did it have contents in it?
What I received was actually swabs that were collected by law enforcement from the can. I did not see the cans themselves.
Okay, so you don't know if the can was full, half full, empty. It was just a swab from the top of the can, basically, or the side of the can.
Yes, sir. I have no knowledge about the can or where exactly the swab was collected from.
So there's no way to testify or say whether anybody drank out of that can, right?
Nor would I testify to that.
I'll pass the witness.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excuse from the state.
Excuse from the defense, Your
All
Honor.
right, the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone except for attorneys for the state or the defense. Please leave whatever exhibits you have with the court reporter. All right, thank you. State, call your next witness.
State call is Detective Brian Bigler.
All right, hello. Would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record, please.
My name is Brian Bigler.
Be sure to keep your voice up so that members of the jury and the court reporter can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon.
Can you please state your name and occupation and introduce yourself to the jury?
Okay, my name is Brian Bigler, and currently I'm a sergeant with the San Antonio Police Special Victims Unit,
How long have you been with SAPD?
approximately 18 years.
What all duties and assignments have you held within SAPD?
Gosh, I was on patrol for several years, approximately 8 years. I worked in the community policing unit, which is called SAFE, for a couple years. I promoted to detective. I was on patrol as a detective very shortly before I went to the Special Victims Unit. After 4 years as a detective, I promoted to sergeant, and I was lucky enough to get a position back with special victims as a sergeant.
What is the Special Victims Unit?
Special victims is separated into a couple of different units. We handle crimes of a sexual nature, as well as family violence, human trafficking, sex offender registry detail, basically cases of that nature.
When you were a detective with SVU, what kinds of cases did you primarily deal with yourself?
Cases of a sexual nature.
Back in March of 2021, were you still a detective or had you promoted to sergeant at that time?
I was still a detective.
And were you assigned to a case involving a defendant by the name of Jose Del Bosque?
I was.
And did you make a report?
I did.
And would having that report with you help aid in your testimony?
It would, please.
May I approach you on it?
Yes.
Tony, it's been marked for identification purposes only as State Exhibit 7. Is this your report?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I ask that if you need to refer to it to refresh your memory, please do so, but please don't read directly from it. Alrighty. So how did this case originate? Did it originate with SAPD or somewhere else?
It originated with Castle Hills Police Department.
What kind of determines who has jurisdiction of a case?
Where the crime was committed. So if the crime was committed in San Antonio jurisdiction, it would be for San Antonio. Castle Hills would be Castle Hills.
And where was this like, alleged to have occurred or determined to have occurred at?
The case that I investigated
Yeah,
was happened in San Antonio.
San Antonio Police Department.
Yes, ma'am.
And that in Bear County, Texas.
Yes, it is.
How did you get the report or how were you assigned to this case?
When I arrived to work that morning, I was notified that Castle Hills Police had contacted San Antonio regarding the offense.
And so do you go and kind of take over or do you have people get brought to you? How does it work?
Every case is kind of different depending on the dynamics of it. In this case, I was notified of what was going on. And then we started coordinating, having people brought to us or sending detectives out into the field to interview people.
And what was the name of the defendant?
The defendant was Jose Del Bosque.
And do you know how old he was at the time?
I believe he was 49 years old at the time.
And what was the name of the victim in this case, or the
Uh,
complainant?
Elise Morrill.
Did you meet with her that day, or did you meet with her at a later date?
I met with her at a later date.
So who was the first person that you spoke to regarding this case?
Direct person or
Yeah, did you speak to one of the other officers at Castle Hills, or did you speak to?
I spoke with Castle Hills first to kind of understand what was going on.
And at any time, the day this occurred, were you able to speak with the defendant?
I did speak with the defendant, yes, ma'am.
Where was that?
That was at the Special Victims Unit at San Antonio Police Headquarters.
And when you conducted this interview, was it videotaped?
Yes, it was videotaped.
And was he read his warning, his Miranda rights?
He was.
When he arrived, was he still in the clothes that he had been brought to you in, or had he changed?
He was brought to me in, for better, like a Tyvek suit type of, trying to think of a proper
Like a
word,
jumpsuit?
like a jumpsuit.
And what was the purpose of that?
I believe his clothes were collected for evidentiary purposes by Castle Hills.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Showing you what's been part of State's Exhibit number 8. Do you recognize this?
I do.
And what is contained on this disc?
That would be my interview with the defendant.
And is this a fair and accurate copy, with the exception of the agreed redactions, a fair and accurate copy of the interview you conducted with him?
Yes, it is, ma'am.
Has it been altered in any way other than the agreed upon redactions?
No.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would like to offer State's Exhibit 8 into evidence.
Is that the original copy?
No, it's that.
Oh, no objection.
All right, State's Exhibit number 8 is admitted without objections.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
Granted.
Is that the jumpsuit you were talking about that we can see on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Fast forward a little to become.
Big first. Before we do anything, I'm gonna read you the rights, okay? Or you were asked any questions by duty of the police officer to advise you of your rights and to warn you of the consequences of waiving these rights. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that? You do not have to make any statement, oral or written, to anyone. Do you understand that, right? Any statement that you make will be used as evidence against you in a court of law or at your trial. Do you understand that? You have a right to have a lawyer present to advise you before and during any questioning by police officers or attorneys representing the state. Do you understand that? You may have your own lawyer present, or if you are unable to employ a lawyer, the court will appoint a lawyer for you free of charge now or at any other time. Do you understand that? If you decide to talk with anyone, you can, and you can stop talking to them at any time you want. Do you understand that? The above rights are continuing rights which can be urged by you at any stage of the proceedings. Do you understand that? So what I'm gonna have you do, sir, is just go ahead and sign this card with acknowledging that you understand it. Now, this one is just like, is your basic information, okay? So your first and last name?
Jose
Yes,
del Bosque,
and that's Bosque.
ya del Bosque, ya,
Okay. What's your home address?
87, 34, Silver Bar,
Silver Coil?
Yeah.
Are you currently working? Okay, where are you working?
um, cabinet shop,
Oh,
cabinet,
cabinet shop? You build cabinets or install them, or
down there,
are you on the road? Okay. How long have you been with that?
since 2016, so it's 5 years.
5 years. What's the name?
It's, Kotobi,
Katobi? How do you spell it?
COTOBI,
Katobi cabinets?
just,
Or just Katobi? How'd you get involved in that? Like, you always done cabinet work?
since I'm old, I started working on that. I was fortunate enough to find
How long you been in San Antonio?
since 94, 95,
Good form.
210,
Yes, sir.
363, 98, 74.
No. What's your birthday?
8/11, 1972,
You know your social security number?
637, 46, 24, 84.
Are you married? Who would be a good, like, emergency contact person?
Trisha,
Patricia?
Trisha.
Tricia?
Uh-huh.
Last name?
Ramirez,
Can you spell it?
Ramirez,
Ramirez. Okay. What's her phone number?
210,
Just
66, 30.
okay. Same thing. I just want you to check over that, make sure everything's correct. If it is, if you can sign the bottom. So you understand why you're down here talking to me
No,
today? Okay. Female passenger in your car. Who is that female passenger?
it's a friend,
It's a friend of yours?
Yeah.
You know what her name is?
Liz,
Alice? How long have you known Liz?
2 months, a year,
Oh, so a year?
maybe 6 months to a year, I'm not sure exactly.
Okay. What's your relationship with?
She's a friend of family.
Is it friends of family? Okay. How did you get to know her? Who introduced you to her?
To my girlfriend's daughter.
Okay. Your girlfriend's daughter introduced you. Okay. And your girlfriend is Trisha? Trisha? Okay. What's her daughter's name?
Olivia.
Olivia? Can you tell me the circumstances of how you and Alyssa were found in the car? What were y'all doing last
I was taking her back to the house because she was meeting with Olivia
night? She was you were taking her back to which house?
to Olivia's house.
To Olivia's house? Where were y'all coming from?
They're coming from my house.
Okay. And that's the Silver Quail? Okay. What were you all doing in y'all's house?
4 years there talking.
Just
So-
talking?
Yeah, but she was with her friends and then she didn't want to be there and then she asked me to take her to Olivia's house.
Okay. So who all was at your house?
Nobody.
Nobody? So y'all were all at Olivia's house?
Yeah, she was at Olivia's house. She didn't want to be there. And then we went to the house and then she wanted to go back.
Everybody's at Olivia's house. She doesn't want to be there anymore. You two leave Olivia's house, go to your house, y'all hang out and talk,
Mhm.
and then y'all are driving back, and that's when you guys stop.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did anything else happen last night between you and Elise? I'm thinking something did happen between you. That's what I'm being told. Okay. And like I said, right now is the time for you to tell me everything. Because I'm gonna find out eventually, and I know a lot of stuff that already. So if you would be completely honest with me about what happened between you two, this is your turn to talk. Okay? Did something happen besides talking between you and Elise?
We had a drink.
You had a drink? Okay, cool. What were y'all drinking?
I was drinking beer.
Drinking beer?
Yes.
What kind of beer do you like?
No, Michelob Ultra.
What?
I think it was Michelob Ultra.
Michelob Ultra? Did she drink anything? But you giving alcohol to a minor, I don't care, okay? I'm not worried about that, but did she have any alcohol last night?
She had alcohol before I picked her up.
She had a couple of drinks before you picked her up? Okay. Do you know what she was drinking? Do you know where she got the drinks from? So you didn't supply her with anything? Did you supply Olivia with anything? Did anything else out? Y'all had a couple, she drank before you picked her up. You had a couple of beers. Okay. Did anything happen between you and Elise at your house? Nothing at all? Okay. I'm being told otherwise. Okay. And there is some stuff that suggests that something else happened between you and her at your house.
Mhm.
I need to know, I need you to tell me. Because if I don't, I'm only getting one side of the story. Can you tell me what happened between you two?
I was drunk and with kids.
You were drunk?
Yeah.
You just, okay. was this consensual? Like, were y'all both willing participants in this? Or were you drunk and you forced her to do this? Yeah, that's what I need. This is where it comes into play. It's like, was this consensual encounter? Was you all willing participants? Or did you forcibly do something with this girl? Okay. Y'all, you're saying that you don't kiss. Where were y'all kissing at when you met her? Like, which one you met her?
Kitchen.
In the kitchen?
Mm.
Okay. What else?
Yeah, it was a bedroom.
She asked you where the bedroom was? Okay. And, what else?
In kitchen.
You kept kissing. How many hours kissing was it? I mean, is it like French kiss, like, or using tongue, or I mean, was this just like a peck on the cheek, or? You were drunk. You've been drinking. Do you remember how much you drank last night? Like, so y'all were kissing in the kitchen, and she asked you where the bedroom's at. Okay, tell me what happened. You kept kissing. And then what? Oh, were you kissing her face, or were you kissing other parts of her body? You don't remember? What happened? What happened next?
The friends were calling her and then saying, just thinking about home, about the house. Just thinking about school. Just started like,
Is this the first time you and Lisa kissed?
yes,
You never kissed any other times before this in a year, 6 months to a year that you've known each other? I have reason to believe that more than just kissing. Pretty positive something more than kissing. Like I said, I want to get your side of what happened. You know, I don't want, if this was something like that, you were drunk, you made a mistake, I get that, okay? I don't want to see something like, if you were drunk and you forcibly did something to her, that's gonna look totally different than if you were drunk and you guys did something consensual. Okay, right now I have one side of the story, and I have information that suggests that more than just kissing. Okay, but you exactly what happened. I go for this kiss.
unfortunately.
Okay. Tell me what. I know you're in the kitchen, you're kissing. She says, where's the bedroom at? Well, what happened after that night?
You know, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of families that depend on me.
Okay.
I'm a person to provide, to fulfill their needs. It'll be a disaster. Yeah. The family that just depend on what we work, what we do.
I understand. And I didn't put you in this position, to understand, but unfortunately, you're in this position now. Yeah, I can't tell you what's gonna happen.
That's how it was.
But can you tell me what happened?
We got into that and they just keep on using.
Which were you like, the master bedroom or spare bedroom or? Go guy to the bed, you know, kept kissing. Were your clothes on, were your clothes off or something?
Probably partial.
Hard lines? What else?
We just keep on using.
And then what?
And we have sex.
You think you did or you did?
I think we did.
Do you remember?
But, well,
I
I was drunk, yes.
Okay, yeah, that's sex. Okay. Well, and it's gonna sound like a weird question, but what kind of sex did you have? Was it like vaginal, anal, oral? What kind of sex? When you said you had sex, did your penis go in her vagina?
No,
Did it go in her anus?
yes,
Okay. Did it go in her mouth?
No.
So you had anal sex with her?
yes,
Did your penis go anyplace else on her?
no,
And the anal sex, this was consensual, you're saying you never forced anything, correct? Okay. Did you ever use, an object?
No.
To get that trigger?
No.
Okay, so it was just your penis and her anus. Did you use any lubrication or did you use a condom? No condom, no lubrication? And this happened in your bedroom, in your bed? Did she ever do anything to your body? Like, did she perform oral sex on you, or did her mouth go on any part of your body? Did the sex only happen in the bedroom, or did y'all continue the sex someplace else? Just in the
I didn't understand the ring.
when the phone, whose phone started ringing?
Her,
Her phone started ringing? And that was when her friends were calling, like, hey, where are you at? So let's back up let's back up a little bit, okay? So you're friends with Elise through your girlfriend's daughter. Who all was at the house? Was it, just Elise and Olivia, or were there other people there? And then Elise says, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. Did y'all leave together in the same vehicle?
Mhm.
Okay. So she told you she didn't want to be there anymore, she leaves.
Mhm.
Did y'all make plans to meet up together? How did that look?
yeah, because I wasn't at home.
You weren't there?
No,
Oh. But how did she contact you to tell you to meet up?
phone,
Did she call you or text you?
thanks.
She texted you like, hey, meet me, something.
So we talked, I don't know, exactly, but we talked and we met
Where did y'all meet up at?
at the gas station,
You remember which ones?
a Chevron, and Leadership.
Chevron on Bitters. You know what the cross street is? Or where it's at? But it's somewhere on Bitters. Okay. And then after y'all get up there, did y'all get in her car or did you drive your car? And y'all drove to your house. Or kissing and sex. Have you ever communicated with her about having a sexual relationship before? So, I know she'd been drinking, I know you had been drinking. Y'all have never talked about having sex or met up to have sex. Before. Olivia is same age at least, right? Okay. And I have to ask this question. Have you ever had sexual encounter with Olivia? Have you ever had a sexual encounter with any other friends? And you're saying this sexual encounter with Louise was one time. It's never happened before, and this was just a drunken mistake.
Be clear, this is muted portions when they're agreed upon redactions, correct?
Correct.
Rings, phone back, don't have anal sex. Her phone rings, her friend's asking like, hey, where you at? Y'all got dressed. And the sex only happened in the bedroom, no other place in the house. Were you on top of the sheets, underneath the sheets? You don't remember, it was just, did y'all use anything to clean it up, whether like a towel or a blanket or clothes?
We just, that's all kept on ringing, we just got up and left.
Appreciate you being honest. Because now, the story, it makes a little bit more, makes a little more sense with everything that I've been seeing. What I'm gonna add is there's something called, a SANE exam. Okay, and it's basically a way to, collect, DNA off a person's body. Okay, so you be transported to the hospital where a nurse specifically trained to do this is going to, like this takes swabs, like Q-tips, stick swabs on your body for evidentiary purposes. Okay. Would you be willing to consent to that? Like willingly do it? Asking your permission if you can go on.
So, I already tell you what happened,
Yes. I appreciate it.
so
So,
going to the hospital,
yeah, if it's just, if you go to the hospital to just like collect stuff, collect evidence, really. And I mean, I appreciate you being honest with me, you told me what happened. But this is just, it's part of what I have to do for me. So if you be able to consent to that, that'd be great. But if you don't want to consent, that's your right. Okay. I tell you what, why don't you think about it? And, give me a couple minutes and I'll be right back. Okay?
so, I mean, like I said, I already told you, yes, we have sex.
Okay.
mean, going to the hospital to get evidence. Telling you they happen. That
You'll
makes,
see it.
that makes sense.
Okay. Okay, well, I appreciate you being honest with me and telling me that. Okay. Like I said, I gotta step out of the room for a minute. Give me a couple minutes, if you need something.
Well, before you go,
Sure.
what's gonna happen?
Let me go check on a couple things, I'll let you know. Like I said, right now, you know, you admitted to having sex with a juvenile, with something under the age of 17, okay? Which is a crime. But I'm gonna go check on a couple things, and I'll come back and I'll tell you what the next step is. Okay? Give me a couple minutes, okay? I'll be ready.
Go ahead. Stop here. So does the kind of the interview end here?
Yes.
What's the next step you took?
Immediately after that, I was checking with the other detectives to make sure other things that we were doing in the investigation were being done, but I believe I asked for Mr. Dobloski to be transported to the hospital for a SANE exam.
Did he agree or did you get a warrant?
Typically, we always get a warrant, but I always ask consent if the person would be willing to do it of their own free will. But I believe we got a warrant that day.
What was the next? Were there any kind of other steps that you took or was the investigation to end?
Well, the investigation was not complete. We had a detective work a search warrant on the defendant's house to collect sheets and anything that might have been used during the act. Let me think. We collected the cell phones belonging to the defendant and the victim for processing. We do a cell phone dump so we can have the evidence off of that. Let me check.
Go ahead.
There was a lot, so let me make sure here. Okay, I executed a warrant on that on the residence. I asked Castle Hills to forward me information in regards to what their officers were told and the actions they took while they were in custody of the defendant. I contacted Mr. Delaski's girlfriend,
What was her name?
Trisha Ramirez.
So that was the mother of Olivia, correct?
Correct.
So you were able to speak to her. Was she in town or was she out of town?
She was out of town. So
What all did you do next?
after I spoke with her, I was trying to get, because I wanted to get a statement from her as well as Olivia. Once the SANE exams were submitted or collected rather, we submitted those to the crime lab for analysis.
What all did you do to did you do anything to investigate, Elise and Mr. Domoski's kind of story of where all they've been that day?
So they did talk about going to dinner prior to being at Olivia and Trisha's residence. So it was determined that they'd gone to a restaurant called Mirasol. So I did go to the restaurant, contact the manager there to try to secure video surveillance of the times they arrived and them having dinner.
And were you able to confirm that they had been there at dinner together?
I did.
Were you ever able to interview Elise?
Yes, I did interview Elise a couple of days later. She did come to the SVU office where I interviewed her.
Was she consistent in what you already knew and had been told that it happened?
Yes, ma'am, she was consistent in her statement.
So basically, this wasn't a, hey, we get this call, he confesses, the story's on, you guys took your time investigating.
Correct.
Were you ever able to speak to Trisha and Olivia?
At one point in time, Tricia stated that she was
Or
no,
without going into what she said, were you just, but were you able?
oh,
to
I
speak
did
to
speak with her, sorry.
her? Let me go ahead and ask the witness right now.
Defense.
Good afternoon, detective now?
Sergeant now.
Sergeant
Yes, sir.
Victor. All right. The first time you mentioned anything about the age of the child was at the very end of the conversation, is that correct?
During the interview?
Interview, yes.
Yes, sir.
So you initially didn't tell them in the beginning, you're being investigated for sexual assault of a child, right?
No,
And during the interview, he basically said that, yes, he had anal sex with her, and that was the only thing he confessed to, right?
correct.
All right. He denied having any kind of oral sex, is that correct?
Correct.
Or vaginal sex, right? All right. Now, in your interview of Miss Morovitz,
Mhm.
do you have any statements where she said there was oral sex between the
I'm
parties?
gonna object, this is hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
In your investigation of the case, what specific sex acts were you investigating? In other words, you had a statement from the witness that said certain things, right?
Yes, sir.
They were gonna lead to potential criminal charges, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What specific acts were you investigating allegedly?
We're investigating the sexual assault of a child.
Okay, how? What act? What sexual assault besides the sexual assault of the anus that was a confessed to?
Okay, the victim made outcries of, can I refer
Yeah,
to
sure.
specifically what she said? Okay. So at one point, the victim said that Mr. Delbosky was rubbing his penis against her vagina.
Okay.
Okay. That her body was manipulated several times and that he had put his mouth all over her body.
Okay,
Um, and that also later on, he had inserted his fingers inside of her vagina and was grabbing on her breasts.
but there was no allegations of oral sex, is that correct?
Well, she said that he put his mouth everywhere on her body, so that doesn't necessitate that it didn't happen. She was just not specific about
Alright.
where her body, it was,
How about the male oral sex? Did she say anything about that?
she, as far as her performing oral sex on,
Yes.
she didn't mention anything about it.
Do you know why that charge was made?
Why, what charge?
Well, the allegation, the indictment says that he had oral sex with her.
I'm gonna object as to lack of knowledge, Your Honor.
All right, that'll be overruled.
I'm not aware.
No idea. All right. Now, you obtain the cell phones from the parties, I take it, the defendant and Ms. Morowitz.
Yes, sir.
Did you run a forensic analysis of those cell phones?
I personally did not.
Did you obtain a warrant to go through those cell phones?
I did.
Did you review any of the evidence that was taken off those cell phones as part of your investigation?
I reviewed both cell phones, yes, sir.
Do you recall seeing that particular evening of March, I think it was 5th, a number of calls or texts being made to Miss Morowitz's phone?
I don't recall everything that I reviewed.
You would agree with me, there was no sexual language or provocation in those texts, right? That you reviewed?
Yes,
Nothing about setting up, hooking up, or anything like that?
no, sir.
Now, you obtained a video from El Marisol, the restaurant?
Correct.
Okay. Was there anything unusual in that video?
As far as,
I don't know. Why would you get a video of the restaurant in your investigation?
the video was taken, we tried to get the video because the victim had maintained that she was served alcoholic beverages while at that restaurant.
But you don't know, did you know the victim had a false ID?
At that time, no,
Okay. Did you subsequently find out?
that was something that was in the cell phones.
Yeah, okay. Oh, this false ID was in the cell phone?
There was pictures
Okay, pictures of what?
of the cell phone, of the false IDs.
Was there any pictures of her in bars?
I believe there was.
Okay, this is a 16-year-old girl, right?
Correct.
Were there pictures of her drinking alcohol in bars?
I believe so, but I don't recall specifically.
In terms of pictures, number-wise, more than 10, less than 100?
I don't recall.
Quite a bit of them, though, you would agree with me.
I don't
I
recall.
don't recall. But it was something that caught your attention, I would think.
Well, a 16-year-old with a fake ID does catch my attention, yes.
16-year-old with false ID in a bar drinking, right? So with regard to Air Marisol, you don't know whether they whipped out their IDs when they got that alcohol in there, do you?
Based on the video, you couldn't tell.
I'll pass the witness.
Just a few, Your Honor. At the beginning of your interview with Mr. Delbosque, did you make a comment to him about, you gave alcohol to a minor, but I don't care about that?
I did.
Okay, so at the beginning, you did mention that she was a minor, correct?
Correct.
And did you also hear him state that Elise was the same age as Olivia?
He did, yes.
Now, again, how did Mr. Delbosque know Olivia?
He met, you mean Elise?
No, I mean Olivia.
Olivia is Mr. Delbosque's girlfriend's daughter.
And during the course of your investigation, did you come to find out how long he and Trisha had been dating? It would be towards the bottom of page 2.
Approximately 5 years.
So at the time, Olivia and Elise were 16. So he's been in Olivia's life since she was at
Judge,
least
I'm gonna
11.
object to the questioning. It calls something not in evidence. There's no evidence as to how old Olivia was.
Sustained.
Elise was 16, correct?
Correct.
And you have been in SVU for years as a detective, correct?
Correct.
In order to commit the offense of sexual assault of a child, does a person need to know how old the child was?
They do not.
Defense?
Let me think here. It's not uncommon, is it not, to have a group of individuals of different ages?
I'm sorry.
Well, let me ask, do you have any kids?
Yes, sir.
You got teenagers,
No, sir.
young kids, adults,
Young kids.
young adults?
No, young
Oh,
kids.
little ones.
Little ones.
Oh, I can't ask you then if they run with kids with different ages because they're probably a 5 and a 7-year-old, right? Much different. But you would agree with me that it's not uncommon for somebody to say 18 running around with 17 and 16-year-olds if they're in the same high school clique groups, right?
It could happen.
People go to high school at different ages.
Yes, sir.
All right, pass the witness.
No further questions.
Is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excused from the state.
Excuse.
All right, the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone except attorneys for the state or the attorneys for the defense. All right, thank you. And if you'll leave the exhibits with the court reporter, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. State, call your next witness.
State rest, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you all a break while I take up a matter that is unrelated to this case. So I will have you all back here by 3:50. Remember my previous instructions. You're not allowed to start deliberating about this case with each other or internally with yourself. You're not allowed to view anything about this case. Everything that you need to know about this case is to come from everything that you need to know about this case is to come from. All right, thank you, everyone. Please rise for the jurors. And Mr. Edmonds, I have your information and I'll take your matter up. State and defense. Can you make sure that the court reporter has the exhibits, please?
Oh, you get to this one. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Mr. Jablowski, you may have a seat, and if you need to go use the restroom, you may leave
Oh.
to use the restroom. We'll be back at 3:40. I'm sorry, not 3:40, 3:50. That clock is just never, I can't trust that clock because sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast.
It's fine.
It took you all about, well, I guess I can't.
2 whole days.
I can't say it because we're not supposed to change batteries or touch anything because this is government property. Well, Avina?
They were government on batteries.
No, I don't have that.
They, yeah. they were
You know, that's the case I turned into you. Katina?
Do we need a trial decision come down?
I'm not sure.
So one of the prosecutors here will do it.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. They're jail cases.
There's also a dismissal. on
Yes.
Trespass, let's go on that too.
Okay.
Yeah. I just talked to.
Yes, Norma, he's on page 6 and I don't have his file. It should be with you all.
It should be
I don't, yeah.
No, I don't want to talk.
So just.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will take, court, has reviewed states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We'd like to, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, just that he has no prior felony history. We're asking the court to take that into consideration, grant the deferred adjudication from the bench. I do not think you have any issues and we'll never see him again.
All right, if you were granted deferred adjudication, do you have a place to live?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Who would you,
With my mother-in-law and father-in-law.
all right, have you asked them, can you live with them?
Yes,
All right, recently?
yes, I have.
All right, do you have any children?
No, Your Honor.
All right, why are you not living with your own parents? What's going on?
My mom, she's an elderly woman already, and I'm a grown man. I gotta take care of myself. I can't always depend on my mom, so, she has her own life to, deal with, so. It's just been, just me and my girl. I've been with my girl 15 years and,
Why don't you have a place to live?
well, I did until when COVID hit and then I lost my job, like.
All right,
2-3
COVID has been.
Yeah, I know, but like 2-3 years ago, I had lost my job and I've been trying to find work. I don't have my ID, my social.
Why don't you have your ID as social?
Because from moving from house to house, I had lost my wallet. Or got stolen from somebody.
So why can't you just get that? I don't understand why.
No documents to say.
Here's
who
the
I
thing,
am.
I don't understand why people just throw up their hands and decide that somebody
You guys
else.
did now.
No, stop.
Sorry, man.
I don't understand why people just throw up their hands and decide as a grown person, somebody else is gonna be supporting you. I don't blame your mom for saying you're a grown man, you need to live on your own. How old are you?
I am 45.
All right, you're 45 and now you have your girlfriend you've been with for 15 years. Girlfriend, so you all are not married, and now she's visiting you upon her parents.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I were them, I would say, yep, you all need to get your own place. And on this probation, you're required to have a job.
Yes, ma'am.
And there are
I-
plenty of places that you can work. There's the car wash. I know it's hot. There's McDonald's, there's Whataburger, there's Subway. I walk all the way up and down the street and I see different places wanting people to work. But you know what? Some people are like, that's beneath me.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I do have a job lined up and it's called WW Woods Premium Barbecue Products. They distribute wood and everything, so I have talked to
Do you have your ID?
No, but that's what I'm trying to get after I
So
get
how
out.
can you work someplace and you don't have an ID?
I know, Your Honor, but I'm going to get my ID when I get out. I'm going to get everything that I need to. And the person I used to work for him before, he's offering me a job, but I have to get all my documents, taken care of, and I will have a job soon.
You haven't had your documents since COVID. I don't understand how now there's a fire under you to get your documents and how are you going to get
I
them?
don't live like this anymore. I'm tired of being out in the streets, homeless.
How often have you been using drugs?
I have been using drugs for at least 4 or 5 years, but I'm clean now, of course.
Well, you're
because-
clean because you're
Yeah,
at the jail.
And I'm willing to stay this way and continue this way because I feel better, a lot better than I've ever felt in years.
Oh.
And I really have,
And does your girlfriend use?
no, she's not using either.
Then why is she with you?
I don't know.
When's the last time she used?
I can't even show you that. I wouldn't be able to answer.
No, I mean, when?
Since that time I got locked up.
Okay. What's her name?
Her name is Jessica Adami.
Jessica Adame?
Yes.
When's the last time she was locked up?
Oh, she's not a bad girl. She's, I don't know, she hasn't been locked up in years.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. There's going to be a $500 fine. It'll be probated. 3 years deferred adjudication. Take in consideration County Court Cause number 727423. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. He's going to remain in custody until the referral is completed to felony drug court. If felony drug court doesn't accept him, he's going to have the TAP evaluation in custody. They tell me that'll be done within 2 weeks. And if not accepted in felony drug court, then it's going to follow all recommendations from TAP. There's going to be 120 sober meetings in 120 days. Field visits 1 time per month for 4 months. Then at probation's discretion, proof of employment within 30 days. of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. 80 hours of community service restitution. How far did you go in school?
To the 11th grade.
All right. I'm going to order a GED or either some type of trade school completion. Once he completes either one of those, then the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. There's to be no contact with any apartments located on Snowden Road, SNOWDEN. There's definitely to be no contact with the branch apartments at 7207 Snowden Road, 78240. There's to be no contact with Jessica Adame until further notice. And probation, if he needs a place to stay because they're not recommending inpatient treatment, then he can stay at lifetime recovery. So lifetime recovery if not placed in inpatient. Probation, is there anything else he needs? All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Let me just tell you why I'm not allowing contact with Jessica Adame for now. She's used drugs, you've used drugs. You probably used drugs together. You need to get yourself 100% into your sobriety. Otherwise, what's going to end up happening is somebody, your parents who said, we're done, are going to have to identify your body somewhere. Or either her parents are going to have to come home and maybe you and Jessica are using drugs at their house. Their house may get raided, or they may find you all having an overdose at their home. They don't need that. You don't need that. This is your shot to try to get your life in order and get away from drugs.
I
All right.
appreciate it.
You're welcome. When's the first time you started using? What age?
And,
All right. Do you remember a time when you didn't use drugs? All right.
I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I needed this.
All right. So this is what we're going to do. Now, here's the thing. To be successful on probation in this court, communication is key. I know sometimes people don't want to go to inpatient treatment, but that's probably what you need 100%. So be 100% honest with them. The state wanted you to have probation. Your attorney wanted you to have probation. I'm agreeing to give you probation. So that means that I believe you can do it and I want you to be successful. Okay? All right. Good luck to you. James Katina. Christopher Ramos, what's going on?
Yes, sir. I conferred with the state. I believe we're at a discovery setting. The issue last time was that we do have an indicted case, but we had an unindicted CM case, drug case.
Yes.
Back then, it was not clear whether that CM was a duplicate of the indicted case. Turns out it is not a duplicate.
And what's the allegation? What's the charge?
It's a possession with intent to deliver. Same charge, 4 grams, 200 grams. Now that CM case, they're still waiting on drug labs for that. As a result of these circumstances, the DA has extended a counteroffer. My client wants to think about it and he's asking me to extend it.
How old are you?
51.
You're 51. So let me just tell you how far this is going to be extended. We're coming back on August 22nd. On that date, you need to let the court know whether or not you've reached an agreement. Do you understand? All right, we'll see you on August 22nd.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, there you are.
August 22nd, right?
Yes. All right, Mr. Chiric, where's your client?
Hi.
All right, so we're gonna put something on the record in this case. We're back on the record in 2021 CR 10255. All right, state, it's the court's understanding that you're waiving count 3.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No
defense?
objection.
And defense, is there anything you wish to put on the record?
Judge, I just moved for, and I think it was count 4. I believe there's insufficient evidence to submit that to the jury, and we asked for a directed verdict on count 4.
All right, state, response?
State and legal check, Your Honor. There is evidence with this one, both in testimony and in the state exam.
repeat that, there was evidence?
There is evidence of count 4, which is the defendant's mouth to the complainant sexual organ, both in the same exam and when Detective Bigler was testifying on cross-examination, he also said that she had talked about it.
All right, and when you say in the same exam, what exhibit is that?
That is State's Exhibit number 5, Your Honor.
All right. All right, that will be denied.
Okay.
Anything else, defense?
No, nothing further from the defense.
All right, thank you. Defense,
Judge, scheduling wise, because I've got some witnesses to line up and.
all right, are your witnesses here?
No, they're not all here. Some of them are for sentencing witnesses.
Okay, so
So I-
we're not there at the
We're
city.
not there, but I need to figure out, I've got a subpoena out. I had.
No. Without regards to the sentencing, do you have any of them for this phase of the trial ready to testify?
I do, Your Honor. It's gonna take a while, though. I don't know how late you want to go.
No, let's call them in.
All right.
All right, thank you.
5 minutes.
Yes, we'll take 5 minutes.
I just want to confirm, this is not related to this case at all. Inside the computer was a defense exhibit number 5 sticker, Your Honor. And I wanted to let you know that as soon as possible.
Defense, are you ready to proceed?
We are your judge.
All right, defense, you may call your witness.
We call Jose DeBosco.
All right, Mr. Duboski, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that members of the jury and the court reporter can hear.
Okay.
All right, if you'll state your name for the record.
Jose Del Bosque,
Defense?
Mr. DeBosco, how old are you?
I just turned 52.
Okay, do you have any children?
I do.
How old are your children?
27 and 25.
Okay, do you have any grandchildren?
I've been gifted with a child. My older daughter just pregnant. She's 6 months pregnant.
Are you employed?
Yes, I am.
Where are you employed at?
Have a a cabinet shop. We build cabinets and countertops.
Okay. What is your relationship with that company?
I'm a partner.
Okay. Does it have employees?
Yes, we do.
And how many
I'm
employees do
gonna
you have?
object to relevance, Your Honor.
Judge, it's just,
Overruled. You can continue.
how many employees do you have?
9
And how long have you been in business?
since 2016.
Okay, can you explain a little bit about what type of business it is? What do y'all do?
I'm gonna object to relevance.
Sustained.
Okay. All right, Mr. Del Bosque, let's go forward to March of 2021. You initially had a experience with an individual named Elise, right?
Yes,
Okay. Do you recall how the day started or the relationship started that particular day?
that particular day,
Yes, yeah, in other words, how did you come about? How did that day come about?
that day I was supposed to take care of the dogs in the house of Trisha. And that day I had invited Olivia for dinner before she was going to spend the night with her dad. And Olivia asked me if she can bring a friend,
Okay,
and I
So-
agreed to that.
okay. So basically you were going to house sit, whose house were you going to house sit?
Trisha's,
And house sit the dogs?
yes,
And Olivia was supposed to be over her father's house?
that's correct.
All right. So what, if anything, happened? Did you all meet for dinner?
We did. We went to the Mirasol restaurant.
At Mirasol, did you have an alcoholic beverage?
I did.
Now, what did you order?
I ordered one, what is called Chispa.
And what is that?
It's an alcohol beverage. It's like a margarita or something like that.
Did you order alcoholic beverages for anyone else?
No, I ordered mine.
Do you know if Olivia and Elise had alcoholic beverages that day?
They did, they ordered.
Okay, did they order them themselves?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's move forward in the evening. You were contacted about getting some alcoholic beverages, were you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who contacted you initially?
Liz,
Okay, and what, if anything, did they want?
they wanted some hot seltzers and some hot seltzers, I believe this is called. And some beer.
And this was for a house party, I presume?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you know about what was gonna happen?
No, because the plan was for me to see the house and the dogs.
All right. How much alcohol did you purchase?
A few 4-pack or 6-pack of the hard seltzers.
Okay, and that's all, you didn't buy cases?
No, sir.
All right. Now, what, if anything, happened after you bought the alcohol? Did you meet up with anybody?
Yes, sir. I went and met with the list.
Okay, and how did you meet up with her?
Well, she had texted me asking me what they wanted, and I met her at the gas station and gave it to her.
Okay. And then you took off.
Yes, sir.
Later in the evening, did you have occasion to have further communications with Elise?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was the nature of those communications?
She texted me that Olivia's dad had showed up to the house.
Okay. And the party had been broken up?
Yes, sir.
What, if anything, happened after that?
They were gonna leave for a while, and then they were gonna go back to the house.
With regard to that evening, did you subsequently get together with Elise?
Yes.
How did that come about?
She texted me and we started conversation. And then she said she wanted to leave the house.
Did you have any conversations about food?
I don't recall talking about food.
Okay, so where did you all meet up somewhere?
Yes, went back to that same gas station.
Okay, and how did she get there?
She drove.
And what happened next?
She got in my truck and we went to my house.
While you were driving in the vehicle, did you have any conversations with her?
Yeah, we were talking, and she was showing me some pictures of one of the bars that she had been at.
This is a picture of her in a bar.
Yes, sir.
Was she drinking in that bar? Was there a cocktail?
Yeah, she was holding a tall, colorful glass. I think she mentioned that was from Bohannan, so something like that.
So at that point, you had seen her in a bar drinking alcoholic beverages.
Yes, sir.
What, if anything, did that put in your mind?
That she was old enough to drink alcohol.
All right. So at that point, you get in your car and where, if anywhere, did you go?
We went to my house.
Okay. When you got to the house, what, if anything, did you do initially?
We had a drink.
What did you drink?
I was drinking a beer and she was drinking a all sorts of truly.
Okay. Just one beverage?
Yes, sir.
Now, you know if she drank the whole beverage?
I don't know.
Now, there's been some testimony about kissing. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Who initiated that? Do you recall?
I think both did.
It was mutual?
Yes, sir.
All right. So where were you kissing at?
In the kitchen.
All right. What, if anything, developed from the kissing in the kitchen? Was there any kind of conversation?
We were just, drinking most of anything. And then she asked me if there was any bedrooms in the house. And I pointed at the door of my bedroom because I always keep my doors closed in the house.
Okay. And after you pointed out the bedroom, what, if anything, happened?
She asked again if that was the bedroom.
Hearsay.
Response?
She asked again.
No, I'm sorry.
Judge, it's a declaration against interest.
All right, that'll be overruled. I'm sorry, that'll be sustained with regards to hearsay.
Who initiated well, I take it y'all wound up in the bedroom.
Yes, with the,
Who initiated the trip to the bedroom?
she did.
And how did she initiate it?
When she pointed at the door that I had pointed out, letting her know that was my bedroom, then she walked away and grabbed me and we went in the bedroom.
And at that particular point, you continued kissing?
Yes, sir.
and subsequently you had sex with her that you admitted to, right?
That's correct, sir.
At the time you had sex with her, did you know she was a minor?
I did not know.
Did you think that she was older than 16?
Yes,
Do you believe the sex was consensual?
yes.
Now, when you were being interviewed by the detective, the question was, or the statement was, don't worry about giving alcohol to a minor. What does that mean to you?
Well, a minor, I consider a person younger than 21.
Right, you see that sign in the liquor stores and everything, we do not serve minors, right?
Yes, sir.
You gotta be 20, so you're thinking a minor is 21.
21 under.
All right, so it was no reference to the fact that she may have been younger than 21. It was the fact you thought that that she was not 21 possibly.
Right.
All right. But you had seen her in bars drinking.
Yes, sir.
When was the first time you found out she was a minor?
I think when the investigator said it at the end of the interview that we just saw.
I passed the witness.
State?
How long did you date Trisha?
Almost 5 years.
And so did you know Olivia those 5 years?
I did.
Okay. Were you aware of how old Olivia was?
No.
In 5 years, you never learned that child's age.
I didn't know the exact age because she has a lot of different friends. She has,
I'm asking about Olivia. You didn't know how old your girlfriend's daughter was for the 5 years you were dating her.
I didn't know she was getting a birthday.
I know, but did you know how old she was? You have a 27-year-old and a 25-year-old. Did you know how old your girlfriend's daughter was?
I did not know at the beginning, ma'am.
At the beginning, did you in the 5 years ever learn how old her daughter was?
Eventually I did, ma'am.
Okay. And so you knew that she went to school with Elise, correct?
I did not know if they were going to the same school.
Okay, you're saying that you had known, you said in your statement, you had known Elise for at least 6 months, possibly a year, but you had no idea how Elise and Olivia knew each other?
That's correct, ma'am.
Okay, you never asked.
No, I did not.
When you got this girl's cell phone number, you didn't ask how old she was?
I didn't.
When you began texting her, you didn't ask her how old she was?
She texted me.
I know, but you texted back, correct? We have the texts.
That's correct. I
You
responded.
never asked how old she was.
I did not.
Okay. At the time, did you know that Olivia was 16? Olivia, not Elise.
That's objection calls for speculation. There is no evidence how old Olivia was.
All right, that'll be overruled. You can answer either yes or no.
No.
Okay, so, and at that point, you'd been dating 5 years and you had no clue how old your girlfriend's daughter was. Okay. So you're saying that until the end of the interview, you had no idea why you were there and you had no idea why you were being questioned about the situation with Elise, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Why were you so nervous? Why did you insist that you had only kissed her?
Because I didn't want to talk about something that happened, I mean, being consensual, and it just happened organically. I didn't want it to say anything
But why would you not want to say anything when you're being directly asked about it?
because I was thinking that was private.
Okay, and so when you do finally start admitting that you kissed her, why don't you go into any more details when you were being specifically asked for them? You still deny anything happened, you just say kissing. Why don't you add the truth then and there if nothing's wrong with it and you don't know she's a minor?
It was private conversation, ma'am.
Okay. So before you ever admit, as we all saw in the interview, that you did more than kissing, you began to tell Detective Bigler about all of the people who were depending on you. Isn't that correct?
I did.
Why did you start doing that if you didn't think you had done anything wrong?
Because I was thinking about everybody.
Explain that to me. Why are you thinking about everyone if you didn't do anything wrong? You don't have an answer for it, do you?
I'm,
That's fine.
I'm thinking how to answer that question, ma'am.
Well, the only answer is that you knew you had done wrong and you're trying to get sympathy from the detective, weren't you? But you do admit that you had anal sex with Elise, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know that at the time, even if you claim you didn't know now, you know you found out later that she was 16. Isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you aware that under the law, it does not matter if you know a child's age? She was 16 and that is against the law. You are aware that that is the law.
Now I know that.
Okay, pass the witness.
Defense?
Mr. DeBosque, were you nervous sitting in that room in a plastic suit,
Yes, sir.
being questioned by a guy with a gun?
Yes, sir.
Ask the witness.
If you didn't know what was happening, why did you think you were in a plastic suit? Why were your clothes taken from you if you didn't know it had something to do with Elise?
Because I didn't know what the process, or I didn't know what was going on. I know that I was stopped.
Okay, pass the witness.
One further question, Mr. DeBosque, have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No, sir.
Ask the witness.
No questions.
All right, you may step down. Defense, call your next witness.
Fence rest, Your Honor.
All right, state.
Rest and close, Your Honor.
Defense, do you close?
Fence closed, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to send you home for today. We're gonna come back Friday at 9. That's tomorrow. You don't,
Judge, I've got that appointment in the morning.
thank you. I'm so sorry. Come forward. All right, ladies and gentlemen, actually, tomorrow we're going to start at 10:30. The reason why we're starting at 10:30 and both the state and the defense don't have any objections to letting me know, letting me inform you of this, it's that defense counsel has a medical appointment he has to attend in the morning at 9. So we're going to say 10:30, but you know how it is sometimes with doctors, they put you in one room when they finally check you in, and then you're waiting in that room for your appointment for a little bit. So that's the reason why we're going to be starting later. You don't have to worry about what time you come for the parking garage, because on Friday, there are no jurors called up unless a judge has specifically asked for jurors to be called up. And my understanding, no other jurors are going to be called up, so you'll be assured of space. So we're going to start tomorrow. I'm going to say 10:30-ish, because it depends on when the doctor appointments in, and I never like for people to rush with driving in San Antonio. You've heard all the evidence that you're going to hear at this phase of the trial. Do not start deliberating in your own mind. Do not start talking with each other or trying to deliberate about this case. Do not view anything. Everything that you need to know about this case comes from. All right, you all are always late with that. All right, everything that you need to know about this case comes from. All right, so we can go off the record, Maria. What's going to happen tomorrow? You come in at 10:30, we'll bring you in. And both the state and the defense, after I read the charge of the court to you, will get a chance to present closing arguments if they choose to do so. Does everyone understand? Yes. All right, thank you. Everyone, please rise for the jurors.